Hello Stitchy friends, this is Sally. I'm Flossie Sews and Grows on Instagram and here on Flosstube, and this is Flosstube number 8. It's Friday the 30th of December, so one more day, tomorrow it's New Year's Eve, so the last day of 2022, so looking forward to a little bit of a party. We've had a wonderful Christmas, really nice and quiet. Spent with family Christmas Day and seeing more family over the last couple of days and friends. So we've actually got friends tonight coming for pre-New Year's Eve drinks. Hence the lights are on. I'm in the dining room, and so we'll come in here and just have some drinks and nibbles. But I've said it's not going to be a late night. I'm going to throw them out early so that we're all fit and well for celebrating tomorrow evening. So I thought I'd come on and talk to you about my final finishes for 2022. I've been quite busy the last couple of weeks trying to get Christmas things finished and gifts gifted. And then I'll do a WIP parade of what I've got outstanding. Then I've got a little bit of haul because I did have a trip to the Nimble Thimble just before Christmas. And yes, I think I'll leave my planning for 2023 until the next Flosstube. But yeah, so welcome and thank you for coming back if you're a returning viewer, and if you're new, I hope you like my stitching and what I'm going to show you. So we'll start with my finishes. This is practically finished. The stitching on this is finished. If you can remember, I've done Heart in Hand, Wonderful Life, and I've done this for my friend who was adopted a little girl, and really pleased with this. So as you can see, it's quite long. I can't quite get my board behind it all, but it should say how wonderful life is now that you are in the world, and I've changed it to how wonderful life is now that you are in our world. So all I need to do is just pop her name here, and I haven't done that yet because I'm not sure how she spells her second name. I've just got to double check that. And then also need to stitch some buttons on. Now I did buy some little buttons when I went to Nimble Thimble, so I've got a couple of bees which she loves. She loves bees. She loves insects and worms and things like that. So I've got a couple of bees, a couple of flowers, a heart and a little bird. So I initially wanted to give this to them for Christmas. However, it's the framing. It's quite an unusual shape. The frame that Heart in Hand recommend is 27.75 inches by 4.25 inches. So I've not been able to find one that off the shelf. So I'm either going to order a custom sized one or I'll have to get it framed. But they've got a court date coming up to finalise the adoption. So I'm hoping that I have it framed for then to give to them. So instead, I did have to quickly stitch something for them. So what I actually did, this is Merry Rabbits, and this is from Manny de Donna, and this came in the Patchwork Rabbit Advent Calendar, and I stitched this for them for Christmas. I gifted it to them this week, so I'm going to put a photo of my fully finish in for you to have a look at it. Really loved this because my friend, before she had, so she's got one daughter already and then a younger adopted little girl now. So, but before she had children, she did have indoor bunnies. Because this has got two bunnies on, one here and one here, I just thought this was perfect to remember the first Christmas that their little girl, their second little girl, is with them. So she was thrilled when I gave that to her yesterday. Another little finish from the Patchwork Rabbit Advent Calendar is this little one. Now I've not used these little try and stop it moving, little, oh, doesn't want to stay still, sorry, little hoops before, but tiny. And this was again in the Patchwork Rabbit Advent Calendar, and this was a little pattern designed by Carla. It's not coming in clear, is it? And it's called Winter by Moonlight. So really happy. I really wanted to get a few more decorations up for Christmas. I suddenly kind of thought I haven't got enough, and that was a really quick and easy one to do. And at the same time, because I wanted more Christmas decorations, I also did this little chicken on a sleigh. And this took me an evening, and then I finished it the next day. And I still actually, I'll be very honest, I've still got the hole in there. I haven't stitched it up yet because I've just done it flat. With some cute Christmas fabric and baker's twine, and I wasn't sure if I was going to stuff it or not, but actually I think it looks great flat, so I probably will just sew that up. But so this is Chicken on a Sleigh, and this is a freebie. This is from the, oh sorry, I've just flicked over my piece of paper so I can see my notes. This is from Pinkin and Pumpkin Quilting blog, and she's got so many really cute freebies on there. And I'd seen Mad Mary on Instagram stitch this, and just thought, oh, I love it. And we have chickens, as I think those of you who know me in real life, or those of you who have watched my previous Flosstubes know, we've got four chickens of our own, and one of them, Ginny, she's a copper black. So although she is black, she does have a little bit of green in her as well, a green shimmer. She's absolutely beautiful. But that reminds me of Ginny. So that was a little quick Christmas decoration. I also did, now this is something that I started way before last Christmas and I didn't get finished, and it just had a couple of stitches to stitch in, and then I fully finished it. So many of you will have seen this. This is a Prairie Santa, and this is from 2010, which is actually the year that my daughter was born. So and we ski as well, so this was a real kind of one I had to do. And the problem was I actually lost the pattern, but luckily when we went to Nimble Thimble, my mum bought the Santas Revisited, which has this one and two other Santas in, so I could finish it off. And then there's another two Santas that I'm hoping she'll let me borrow the pattern again so I can stitch those. But and I actually I did quite a bit of framing just before Christmas, and I had a bit of a migraine, but I knew I needed to get it done. So I didn't frame this particularly well, and it's one that I've laced everything apart from this one, because this was the last one I did, and I just thought, oh, I just need to get it done. And I kind of mucked it up really, that it was just too high in the frame. But I've just gone, and I think I've rescued it with this bit of snowflake ribbon here, and actually I really like it. I'm really pleased with that. So that is stitched on. It's actually stitched on a piece of fabric that I found. I found this, can't remember what it was, but it could have been a DMC kit in a charity shop, and it was to stitch something that I didn't like at all. There were lots of half stitches, and it wasn't my style. But I think it was not very much money at all, so I thought, well, I'll buy it. And I've used the fabric, so I think it's a 32 count even weave, so I used that. And then the colour, these I don't think I had any of the called for colours, so I've just substituted it with colours that I did have in my stash. And then the pack of colours that came with the chart, I've actually used in other things where they've been called for numbers and I've not had them. I've been like, great, I have actually got some of that. So that's been really useful. So, you know, if you ever see a kit in a charity shop and you think, well, I don't like that design, it might actually be worth buying it for the fabric or for the DMC in there. So I was quite pleased that I did that. My other frame, luckily I did frame this before I got too headachy. Many of you have seen me stitching this and seen it as a WIP over the last perhaps month, 6 weeks. Dreaming Miss Claus by Barbara Anna. I couldn't find a frame for this when I went shopping for frames, and actually I bought this frame for something else, but actually I think I just tried this one in here with it, and I think it's fine. It is so it's just a not expensive one from the range, and so it's Barbara Anna, so it's Dreaming Miss Claus, and I stitched it on 32 count with the called for DMC, and the fabric was 32 and it was antique white, but I hand dyed it myself with kind of purples at the bottom and more bluey at the night to show that kind of seeing reflection of me then, a night sky. But love that one, absolutely love it. Then there's another one here that actually you haven't seen before. This was so this is the first project. So in August 2021, when I came back to cross stitching after I hadn't stitched before my daughter was born in 2010. I hadn't cross stitched in between her being born and last August. I'd done lots of other things. I did stitcheries and some, didn't actually quilt, but some kind of quilting bits and bobs and embroidery, but I hadn't cross stitched. And this was the first project that I got to start cross stitching again. I think it was quite an ambitious one. So I got in August and I wanted to finish it for Christmas. It was a expo chart, and I didn't finish it for Christmas. I think it just became a little bit. I started some other projects. So Halloween arrived, and I wanted to do some Halloween things because I was by that point on Instagram, and I think I'd started to watch Flosstube by then, so you could see everybody's wonderful Halloween things and got really enabled by those. So I think I put it down, and it didn't get finished for Christmas. So I think I finished it in the new year, and then it sat in my sewing room until last week. So let me show you. It's a bit of a biggie. It is Tiny Modernist, and it's the Nutcracker Tree. And I stitched this on 28 count, and it's Jobeline, and I think it was either light blue or eggshell. And I think possibly that's why I got a little bit disillusioned as well, because as I went, I started stitching. As I've gone, I've started stitching on 32 count, then 36, and now I'm stitching some 40 count. So I think I got a little bit. I didn't want to be stitching 28, but I'm really pleased that I finished it. I actually the called for fabric actually had I can't remember what the called for fabric was, but it had like snowflakes, white dots on it, so it looked like snow. So actually instead I have actually just put some beads on there, and there's a bead right at the top that's meant, it's been a real kind of squeeze to get it into this frame, but I'm really pleased with it. Now it's framed, I'm absolutely thrilled with it. So that's been up on the wall over Christmas, and yeah, chuffed to bits that I finished it, although it has been a bit of a lengthy project, but I did it, so I'm pleased. I also finished Christmas Window by Barbara Anna, and I was stitching that along with Stitchy Sally from Instagram and YouTube as well. And that was from the latest Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher issue, and I actually finished it. And I think some of you on Instagram knew that I was in a bit of a rush, and I think I might have talked about it on my last Flosstube actually as well, on Flosstube number 7. I was in a bit of a rush to get it finished and get it fully finished so that I could gift it to a friend at a Secret Santa party. Anyway, this is, I'll put what the finished object looked like. But it was stitched on a 32 count, I think, natural raw linen that was just in my stash, and it looked great. Really pleased with it, and my friend who I gifted it to absolutely loved it. So I was really pleased, because originally I was going to stitch her something else, and I'd finished that. I hadn't fully finished it, and I just decided, well, actually my daughter decided for me that the Barbara Anna was a better gift for her, and she was absolutely right, so really pleased. I just finished it on a little board, which again is from the range. I think £2.50 for these, and I've used one before. I used one to do frame Trick or Treat, stick Trick or Treat onto, from La Di Da, and just a really cheap, easy way to make something look really, really good. So really, really pleased with that, and I was just so thrilled that my friend was pleased with it as well. So those are my 2022 finishes. I'm really pleased with all of them. It's been a good year, and I've still got lots. There's lots that I've started, that I've got on the go. So let me show you those. So first of all, I've got the Love Family Home. So this is the Little House Needleworks logo charts from Little House Needleworks, and I started this earlier in the year. Again, I'm not sure. I think it's on 32 count, but it could be 28. But again, I think on antique white, and I haven't got a huge amount to go on this, but I think the Halloween stitching and Christmas stitching came into play, so I've just put this to one side. So that will definitely be a finish, I'm hoping, in early 2023. Want to get on with that one, and I'm going to show these in order of where I started them. Next up, we have the Supernatural SAL. So as you can see, I'm down to the bottom border, but I've not quite done 8 of the creatures. And let me just show you a picture of what it will look like when it's finished. So I've still got, there we go, that's what it'll look like when it's finished. And this is by the Witchy Stitcher, who is a Canadian designer, and I've still got 8 of the creatures to go, and I've got all the writing actually on these as well. So love it, really love it. I love the fabric. This is a 32 count, I think it's an even weave, and it is from Stitchy Ferret, and it's called Vampirella. That's a bit of a tongue twister. Vampirella. I'm not going to say it again. I've said it correctly once, so I hope you got that. I'll put it down below as well. Let me make a note. I need to tell you what that is, because I can't say it. Vampirella. There you go. I did it. I got it out. I really enjoyed this. This is, as many of you know, my journey has taken me from you know, 32 count stitching 2 over 2 to stitching 1 over 2, and this is still a 2 over 2, but the fabric's great, and actually it stitches nicely 2 over 2. But this will be definitely, again, I would like to get this finished for Halloween next year, and finished for Halloween next year. But I've really enjoyed doing that one. Many of you will remember I started in October. I decided to do a bit of a mad, it was the end of September, I think, decided to do a 10 starts in 10 days to celebrate it being my birthday. And one of those was Blackbird by Blackbird Designs. And I'm stitching this, so it's with Espresso Bean, a Gentle Art Simply Shaker. And this is how far I've got with that. I'm stitching this on a 32 count fabric, and this is from the stash and load I got of scrap fabric. So I don't know what it is, but it's a kind of biscuity coloured linen. Has it got a, I would say it's Vigart, but it hasn't got a selve edge on it for me to confirm that. But that's Blackbird by Blackbird Designs. Also from those starts on my Halloween stitching, not made any progress on this. Vintage Country Mocha 36 count. That is Halloween delivery, and it is from the Brenda Gervais With Thy Needle and Thread Jack-O-Lantern Jubilee booklet. So again, that will be finished for next Halloween. Another September start was, this one is Midnight Jack from Delaney Wood Treasures. Again, this is on 40 count. And again, it's from the that's the back. It's from the magic stash bag, I call it, from my stash and load bag. So I got a bag of 40 count and a bag of 32 count on a stash and load. Bits of scrap, and they were great, all different sizes and things. So let me show you what Midnight Jack will look like when finished. There we go. So Midnight Jack is actually, it's from the I can't read which issue that is, but it's from an issue of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher, a back issue. So it's not very clear, actually. The iPad's not bringing that up very well. It's not the light in here, it's the iPad. So there's a bat at the top and then greenery around the pumpkin. And then the final, oh no, there's 2 more from that Halloween stitching. So Good Witch Sampler Pillow. This is also from I can't see which issue, but this is from a back issue of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher. This is the Good Witch Sampler, and it's designed by Sub Rosa. Again, I haven't got very far with this. This is also a fabric from 40 count fabric from my Stash and Load bag. So I'm not too sure of the colour, but I've got a feeling this was in a little bag that did, most of it was unlabelled, but there are odd bits that were labelled. And I've got a feeling this actually is a fox and rabbit, and it could be hog bristle. But again, I'm not sure. It could have been put in the wrong bag, so I'm not 100% sure, but I've got a feeling that was in that bag. And then just finally on those Halloween pieces is Witch Ride by Barbara Anna. And again, that was one I started in September on my crazy 10 starts in 10 days. And actually, I did work on this on Wednesday night, which Wednesday is my Barbara Anna evening stitching along with Stitchy Sally, and I've actually not got too much to finish this. So this is now out for me to try and get finished this in the next couple of weeks, and that is on that's with the called for threads, called for DMC, and it's on 36 count vintage country mocha, which I had some of in my stash. So those are the Halloweeny ones. We then came on to November, and Black Sampler November, and many of you will remember I really liked Mama Loves You GB's design of Mary Ann Kettle 1838, Be Not a Dunce. I just loved that saying, love that saying. And my partner is a teacher, so this was one that I think, you know, Mama Loves You GB, Michelle, she is a teacher, and I think she liked, you know, that Be Not a Dunce was special to her, but I think my other half thought it was great as well and just loved it. So I decided to start this for Black Sampler November, and this is how far I got. Again, this is on 40 count, and it is from my stash and load bag. So again, I don't know what the fabric is, but it is a hand dyed fabric, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. But I have to say, I can't stitch it in the evening in the lounge when we're watching TV. I have to stitch it upstairs in my stitching room, where I can have it a bit closer to me because of the light. So it only really gets stitched on if I can stitch during the day, or perhaps an hour in the evening before we go and watch TV in the evening. But really enjoying it, and again, that is going to be hopefully an early 2023 work on that. That's in one of my lovely, I've made this project by myself. I just love, I'd have this fabric in my stash since before my daughter was born, but just absolutely love it. It's just gorgeous fabric. So that's in that project bag. Next, Peace on Earth, which is from Cottage Garden Samplings. I love this. I got this pattern on a stash dealer, a stash unload as well. Love it. Now, I think you may remember the last time I showed you this, I had a little bit of controversy with the, let me show you, with the colour. This is how far I'd got. And if you can remember, I was a little bit unsure. I'm stitching this on 40 count. Again, it's a piece of fabric from my stash and load bag. So I don't know what it is, don't know what the colour is of it, but it's lovely. And I was a little bit unsure. I'd unpicked quite a lot of the DMC colour that this brickwork had called for, because it just didn't look right. It just, and the two brick colours actually blended into each other, so you couldn't see a distinction between them. So actually I unpicked it all, and when I went to Nimble Thimble, so I've got the called for DMC, but I think it was 920 was the called for DMC colour in that brick, and actually which is that colour, but actually the called for Fancy Floss was copper from the Gentle Arts, which is that colour. So actually you can see there's quite a difference, and I managed to get copper at the Nimble Thimble when we went to visit before Christmas. So I haven't yet tried it, because what I have got in there is a different, I think it is a copper from Classic Colourworks, which I just happen to have. But actually I wanted to get that one to try that. So as I've been busy with all my Christmas stitching, that I wanted to get finished for Christmas, I haven't had a chance yet to try that. So I'm looking forward to doing that and seeing how that works. Now I've got the actual called for fancy floss colour for that, because I had got some the The other colour that's in there is actually Rose Garden from Gentle Arts, and I'd got some of them like that left over from another project, so that's what I was using. So so I think the two of them together will look better. So looking forward to trying that one. WIP number, oh I can't remember, I've lost count. I've got 14 I think in total. 14. Again, in a this one's in a project bag that I've made myself, with some lovely Christmas candy fabric and candy stripes on the back. So this is a Mocha fabric. I'm not sure who designed it, but again, I do love it. So this is Dancer, and this is from Barbara Anna. Very lovely stitch. Now this is stitched, the called for is charcoal splash, but I couldn't get that, so I got the sparkle alternative instead, which I think is a, you know, just as good really for Christmas, stars rather than snowflakes. But really enjoying this. I tend to stitch on this on a Wednesday night, where Stitchy, Sally and I do our Wednesday night Barbara Anna's, but actually I've had a few nights on this because again it's 32 count, so I can stitch on this in the evening in front of the TV, and we've had, you know, quite a few Christmas movie evenings, so I've managed to get quite a lot stitched on that. So really pleased with that. That is from the 2021 issue of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher, but actually that has now been released as a pattern, so you can now buy that. I think you can get that through Creative Poppy. I think this is WIP number 11. So this is Deck the Halls, and it is by Crow's Feet Stitching. Let me just find the photograph for you. I'm going the wrong way. So obviously you can tell I actually do buy a lot of my, where's the photograph? A lot of my patterns as PDFs, so I haven't, and I don't, even though I print out the pattern at times, now I've got a working printer, I don't actually print out the front cover because otherwise you just use up so much ink, it's ridiculous. Now I definitely had, there we go. So it's Crow's Feet Stitching, and it's Deck the Halls 1862. So this is designed by Ruthie Taylor. Here we go. This is what it will look like. Excuse me. And I haven't actually got very far with this yet. This is actually a stitch along that Marie of Stitches and Diamonds has organised, and we do have a little chat group of us who are stitching it, and we show pictures of our progress, and I am probably the furthest behind with this, so that's how far I've got. So not very far at all, but Marie, I know Marie is stitching it for next Christmas, and I'm also stitching it for next Christmas. I had far too much on my plate to even contemplate getting it done for this Christmas. So, but really enjoying it so far. It's a beautiful pattern, and I'm stitching this on a 32 count light mocha stroke mushroom linen, which is gorgeous. So again, that's another one that I can stitch downstairs in the evenings and get on with. A relatively new start. You have seen this before, but it was a start in kind of the middle of December. So I think possibly I just started it on my last Flosstube. This was in celebration of Stitchy Sally's birthday. So we started it on her birthday together, and it is Modern Folk Embroidery, and it's the Moonshine Cabin. So this is what it will look like. Absolutely gorgeous. And I think I completely got enabled by both Sally and also by Charlie Feathers. And I've actually been stitching on this today, so it's in the Q-snap and it's got the needle on my needle minder, but that's how far I've got. And this is on 32 count Sleigh, no, chalkboard that I'd got in my stash. So again, although it's 32 count, because it's so dark, I have to stitch this in my sewing room where I can get the light on it a little bit better, and I can also kind of see through the holes a little bit as well, just to check, because it's quite easy on such a dark fabric to put your needle in the wrong place. But really enjoying it. It's a beautiful pattern. It's beautiful. Beautiful colours. I think because I've been working on it this afternoon, all my colours are upstairs. But I'm doing it with the called for DMC. So I think Jacob released this in conjunction with Evertotes and Leo and Roxy floss. But it's very difficult to get hold of that in the UK. You can order it from Evertotes, but I decided maybe the night before Sally's birthday that I just couldn't resist doing it, and I was going to do it. And I did have all the called for DMCs in my stash, so that's what I went along with. But a really enjoyable stitch so far. I also joined in another stitch along with the Lancashire stitcher Lynn. Lynn is doing it's hashtag seasonal SAL, and I have decided to stitch for that the Blue Flower Seasons of the Heart series. So on 21st of December we moved into winter, and I started, let's see if that side is, oh, that's better. Oh, I started Seasons of the Heart from the Blue Flower, the winter one. Haven't got very far with this. Just made a little start, but I've got 3 months to work on it now. So I will possibly get a finish on this, I would like to think. This is on a 40 count linen out of my stash bag, my stash and load bag. So I'm not sure what it is. Possibly, I don't think it's hand dyed, so it's possibly an antique white. I don't think there's any colouring on that, but it's lovely to stitch on. So the seasonal SAL that Lynn has started is you stitch from the winter solstice to spring, and then I will switch to spring. Now Lynn is doing the Celtic Ladies, so she will stitch, I think she's doing 30 minutes a day on hers, and she will stitch that until the 21st of March when it becomes spring, and she will then switch to her spring lady, and if she hasn't finished her winter, she'll then move that on to the following year, so she'll start back again on the 21st of December with that. So I think I probably will get a finish with each of my Seasons of the Heart, because they're not massive. They're 80 by 101 stitches, the stitch count there. So the finished size is 4 inches by 5 inches. So they're not massive. So I think I should get those done within the time. And then completely enabled, once again, I had a new start a couple of days ago. And again, it's all Stitchy Sally's fault. She started Stitches Through the Years, The Joy of Winter, and she started this with her friend Chris as a SAL. I'm just thinking, have I written down what the SAL is called? I think it's called The Joy of Winter Seasonal SAL. But I'll put it below if you want to go and have a look at it on Instagram and join in. When Sally first showed it, I thought, I love it, but I've got too much on. Really want to do it. I've got too much on. And then Yasmin Made with Love showed her version. She'd started it and she was doing it beautiful. She was doing it on the Zweigart Belfast linen that is, I think it's a natural raw linen with the polka dot, cream polka dot, so it looks like snow. Just looked beautiful. And then Country Gal on Instagram. Now she's got a couple of numbers after her name and I've not written them down. I'm so sorry. I think it could be at Country Gal 456, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm going to put it below and I will tag her on the Instagram post. But she started stitching it as well, and just one more person, and I just thought I've got to do it. It's a really lovely pattern, and let me see if I've got it. Did I save it to show you a picture? No, I thought I was more organised today. I'm terribly sorry. It's all the Christmas cheese. It must be. It's addling my brain. But I'll put a picture up here while I'm waffling away so that you can see it, what it'll look like when it's finished. But it's absolutely fantastic. So I started a couple of days ago, and I've made a very tiny start. So here we go. You won't be able to see much, but that is just started in the middle and stitching it on 36 count country vintage Mocha with the call for DMCs. So I luckily had them all in my stash, so I've not even had to make any substitutes. So there we go. So that is 14 WIPs. And I've been going 40 minutes. I'm definitely not going to talk about 2023. We'll move that over to next week. But really loving all 14, I think. I don't think there's anything there that I want to not carry on with and not stitch. So all of them hopefully will move into. I started working on my 2023, what I want to start, but I need to perhaps try and fit those WIPs in and give myself a little bit of accountability. I am, other than my Wednesday nights where I stitch with Sally and we do Barbarana, I am one of those people that I want to stitch on what I want to stitch on when I want to stitch it, and just to whatever takes my fancy. And again, I'm learning. I have to stitch 36 40 counts upstairs in my study in my sewing room and 32 counts downstairs at night with TV. So quite often I will stitch on more than one thing in a day. But I do want to be a little bit more organised. I don't want to leave things 12 months before I finish them off or fully finish them. So I'm not a big planner, but I'm going to I want to be a little bit more organised. And so this is actually part of my haul. One of the things that I have purchased, so this is my own, I've actually purchased from Stitching Cabin the PDF of her stitching journal. Now, this is Hayley, who is Stitching Cabin, and she has produced a stitching journal. Now you can buy this, so you can buy it on Amazon as a hardback, and I'm not sure if you can buy a softback as well, but you can definitely buy a hardback. And you can also buy a PDF directly from Hayley. Now, actually, I decided, because I'd never used a stitching journal before, and as I've just told you, I'm not much of a real, I like to stitch what I want to stitch when I want to stitch it. I thought the PDF might suit me better, because then I could just print out the pages that I want and the pages that I would like to use. So I want to get a prettier folder. I really do, and I've just stuck this on just so everybody knows it's my stitching journal. But I've printed out. I know a lot of people have the book of days and have a big kind of thing like this that they write what they've stitched on. So potentially I'm going to use that. But there's a monthly goals bit that I printed out. I printed out the new starts. So I'm going to plan what I would like to start in each month, because some of them are, taking part in the seasonal SAL. That will be the next one to start, will be in March, and then another one in June, etc. So there is some planning in there. A year tracker. I don't know if I'll use that if I'm using the other thing, but perhaps it'll just. And I don't use Pattern Keeper. So I can't always say how much I've done of a pattern, for example. And there is a WIP tracker there, which I quite like. So I will write down all my WIPs, and then I can just tick them off perhaps as I get work done on them. Yeah, so there's a progress tracker, as you can see now. You can colour in what percentage of it the project you've done. That'll be a little bit of a guess for me, because with not using something like Pattern Keeper, I don't know what percentage of the pattern I've done, but I can make a kind of calculated guess. So I have printed out a couple of the progress tracker pages, and then one thing that I really like, which I'm hoping will get me a little bit more organised, is Waiting in the Wings. So this has the name of the pattern, the designer, the notes, and then it's got little tick boxes for chart, fabric and floss. So you can write in there what you'd like to have waiting in the wings, and then tick off when you've got the chart, tick off when you've got the fabric, tick off when you've got the floss. So I'm hoping that I can fill those in for some of my starts or potential new starts. Then there's a wish list, so I can put in what I've seen that I like and put little notes in and things, perhaps where I've seen it. And then there's a little tick box to say promoted to WIP when you start it. And then finishes, so you can write, because I don't know a lot of the finishes I've shown you. I don't know, I didn't really start working on my Instagram account for my cross stitching until the summer. Before then it was a bit more, it was quite more gardeny, and then I decided I really wanted to show you more my cross stitching off. So I've not really noted when I finish things, so I'd like to be able to note that. And then the other thing that I really liked that I printed out was an expense tracker. Now 2023, a little bit tighter for all of us, I think, and I am going to give myself a budget for 2023. So I'm just going to have the expense tracker, got that printed out so they can track how much I've spent each month. Because actually, I don't think I will need to spend an awful lot. So that's a stitching journal from Stitching Cabin. I don't think I'll need to stitch an awful lot. I've got a subscription to Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher for all the back issues, and there's a huge amount of charts in there that I'd really like to stitch. I've got quite a good stash of patterns, not as many as some, really not as many as some, but I've got a few, and I have actually got a really good stash of DMC as well. I've really taken advantage of when Love Crafts have said buy 50 and get 20% off. I've gone through all my charts and made sure they're all covered, and then my local garden centre are getting rid of their craft section, so they've had all their DMCs half price, so I've been in there as well. And also, if I ever need a DMC and I'm placing an order somewhere like Patchwork Rabbit or Peakside that gives you spend so much and you get free delivery, I've always made sure I've upped it to get the free delivery. So my second bit of haul, I went to, as I said to you earlier, I went to Nimble Thimble just before Christmas with my mum. That was really lovely, although it's perhaps only about an hour from where I live. I'd never visited before, so it was really nice to go. And my partner had said to me we'd set a budget for how much we were going to spend on each other for Christmas, and actually he'd ordered something for himself, and then I said, why didn't you tell me? I'd have got you that for Christmas. And I said, well, how about when I go to Nimble Thimble, I'll get the equivalent spend and stuff that I would like, and then we both know we're getting what we'd really like for Christmas. So did buy some threads, and I haven't bought those to show you. I've bought, again, a couple of DMCs that I needed for other projects, and then actually a couple of DMCs for the what I got for Christmas. But so I bought Prairie Santa 2022. Really love him. I think he is very, very cute, and that comes with I can't show you the bead. Comes with some beads as well, but can't show you because then I'll be showing you the pattern. And also I really liked this one, the needle worker. And actually I did buy some of the fancy floss for that. That's Baked Apple. So this is the new collection from Cottage Garden Samplings, because Year in the Woods has finished. So this is now Vinnie's next series is the Snowman Collector. So this is number 1, and I decided I would buy them individually rather than join one of the auto ships, just in case there was. I'd initially thought I might stitch the whole thing as one big piece, but I wasn't going to make the decision on that until I saw a couple more of them released, and actually really like number 1, but actually I'm not as keen on number 2, so I am not going to do it as one big piece. And actually it's massive. It is really a massive piece, and I don't think I've got room in my house for it, so I am going to just buy them individually, the ones that I like, and I loved that one, so I've had that one. And then the other thing that I bought was a fat quarter of Vintage Country Mocha. Now I bought 32 count. I'd really wanted 36 count, but unfortunately Chris doesn't have much. I don't think she had any 36 count or 40 count actually in the shop. She's got a lot of 32 and a lot of 28 count, but she said that she doesn't really sell much 36 or 40. So I bought the 32 count, which again I love stitching on. So those are my presents that I knew about from my other half, and he'd obviously been listening when I tell him what I like and what I like stitching on, because he did order from Wool Warehouse a fat quarter of fabric for me, and bless him, he said so I don't know if you can see what it is, but it's actually Vintage Country Mocha, and bless him, he ordered it after I'd been to Nimble Thimble, and he said, oh, I was horrified when it arrived because I realised it was the same colour that you'd bought at Nimble Thimble, but I didn't know, and it's just when I looked at them I realised that they were the same colour, and I can't fault them at all. That's, you know, it's just the way it is, but I love stitching on it, and I will no doubt, I think I'll stitch both the snowman and the wee Santa on it, and I've got another couple of projects in mind for the new year, the new starts, that I'll probably use it as well for. So you know, it's such a great versatile fabric, and actually because it is printed, it's not a hand-dyed fabric, it's Zweigart printed, it's light mocha on the back, so actually I can use either or, and light mocha straight mushroom is again another favourite colour of mine to stitch on. So bless him, just he felt terrible, and I'm like, no, it's absolutely fine, I love the fabric, more than happy with it. So yeah, bless him, it's lovely. Anyway, thanks for sticking out my 2022 finishes and my 2022 hand mending 2022 with my 14 WIPs. I will come on again in the new year and talk to you about what I want to start and my plans for 2023, because I've only got 14 WIPs. I've only got 14 WIPs. You know, there's lots of wonderful WIPs parades out there that I've been watching over the last couple of days, where people have quite a lot, and I think that's fabulous and good on you, and I want to increase my WIPs a bit. I want to get things finished. I do like finishing things off, but I think I need to get up to at least 20, if not more. So that's my New Year's resolution, to start more stuff. but why not? So that just leaves me to say, I hope you all have a wonderful new year. I hope that it's healthy and a happy 2023, and you know, that life gets better for all of us, and our stitching can get more fun and enjoyable, and yeah, just enjoy your stitching. So happy new year, and thank you for listening. If you don't already subscribe, I'd love it if you would subscribe. That's a big help for me to know that you're really enjoying what I'm talking about and what I'm doing, and yeah, just helps me in the long run. So go and press that like and subscribe button, and that will make me do a little happy dance at some point when it comes through. So happy new year, and I shall see you soon. Take care. Bye. Lovely people, I forgot to say that until the 1st of January you can get 50% off the PDF stitching journals by Hayley at Stitching Cabin. So if you go to stitchingcabin.com, that is her website, and you purchase a PDF version of the stitching journal, and you can buy it in 2 sizes. I bought the A5 size, which printed out for me onto A4 paper, which was perfect, so I can have it a bit bigger. So until the 1st of January, so you've got today and tomorrow, depending on when you watch this video. And the code to use is journal 2023. So that's journal 2023, and journal is in capital letters. So that's stitchingcabin.com, 50% off the PDF journal until the 1st of January using the code journal 2023. Happy stitching. Bye.